You're welcome back. Here is Samson's take. Good laws, not good enough. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia hits the nail right on the head when he tells us a major problem in Ghana is not the lack of good laws, but non-implementation. The Vice President on Wednesday told the National Symposium on the New Land Law that all the good things in the law will be a mirage if it is not vigorously enforced. He charges citizens to, quote, fight the demons and principalities, unquote, they encounter in acquiring and registering their lands. Like many, his joy is that the new law sanitizes and deals with all the known problems. Who doesn't like this good law that compels chiefs, clan heads and family heads and all other landowners to establish a secretariat with registers to manage lands using transparent processes and to render accounts? A law that hands 5, 7, 10 to 15 years jail terms to chiefs engaged in fraudulent or multiple sale of land, land guards and those behind them who try to use force or violence to obstruct, intimidate, or prevent you from developing your piece of land acquired with your hard-earned money. A law that ensures you get a refund if a chief or anybody selling land conceals an encumbrance or problem with the land or falsifies the plan document. They pay between 60 to 120,000 Ghana cedis or go to jail for 5 to 10 years. Officials paid to help you register your land get to pay 12 to 14,000 or go to jail for 2 to 5 years if they aid fraud by deleting or falsifying land records, if they issue fraudulent documents, make fraudulent entries, alter, erase, deface, obliterate, or mutilate a land register for their own fraudulent purposes, corrupt purposes, I mean. These will now be done electronically, how you deal with your land. But all these good stuff will remain on paper if the Lands Commission is not adequately funded and the stakeholders, including the police, equipped to enforce the law. A favorite judge, Justice Dennis Dominic Ejay, observes that a bad law that is properly implemented is better than a good law that is poorly implemented. The Rent Control Department informs me that about 72% of the complaints it received in 2019 concern rent arrears. People can't pay. Tenants are compelled to cough up rent advance for 2 or more years, only to be evicted in ways prohibited by the law because they cannot pay illegal extortionate rates and illegally increase rents. But we know Section 25 of the rent law prohibits charging, demanding, or receiving rent advance exceeding 6 months of the monthly rent, even if you gave out your apartment for more than 2 years. This is punishable by up to 6,000 Ghana cedis, or in addition to that, alternatively, up to 2 years in jail. A landlord cannot increase rental charges without permission from the legal authority, that's the department. In fact, before you can advertise your property for rent, you must obtain an assessment certificate by which the department determines if the premises is tenantable or good for human habitation, and the rate to charge, not an indiscriminate charge. A copy of each tenancy agreement must be lodged with the department. Landlords must procure a rent card from the department for tenants in case of monthly or short tenancies. They are to issue receipts to the tenants when they pay their rent to assist payment of rent tax. That's 8% for premises for domestic use and 15% for premises for commercial use. If this department gets this needed attention, it should be able to generate income to improve its facilities and personnel to sanitize the sector and get rid of the injustice many suffer because of accommodation. But what do we see except complete, absolute disregard for the well-intentioned rent laws rarely enforced in this country by the duty bearers? Well, that's my take, and that's your legal light. Next week, we may bring the experts and duty bearers to answer questions about the problems with landlord and tenant and the way forward, including the bigger issue of the housing deficit and affordable housing for a decent living. We'll be right back to get into the issues, the judgment debts.